So this is what it looks like. I guess we're in 4K. Honestly, I could see this thing being sold for like maybe 150, and it'd be pretty cool. Maybe 200, but
Hey everybody, welcome back to RC with Adam. My name is Adam, and what we're looking at today is the Holystone HS700E. It's a new drone that they came out with fairly recently, I think, and they said, hey, Adam, we want you to, make a video about this so people will see it. And I said, okay, I will do an honest review for you guys, and that's what we're going to do today. So bottom line up front, would I recommend this to a friend? Find out at the end of the... I'm just kidding. No, I would not recommend this to a friend. It is just not... It's just not there in its current state. Right now, this retails for around $300 is the price on Amazon. And you can probably get it for cheaper. Check the description down below if I can get you guys a discount code if you do want to buy this. But yeah, if a friend was like, hey, I want to get a camera drone, I have around $300 to spend, should I get this one? I would say, yeah, I would keep looking. And if you want specifics, I'll just tell you, I would probably look at the Hubsan Xeno line. I know that they have some, I'm not sure about the current one, but I know some older ones they had for right around this price range, and they seem a friggin' lot better. Just to be totally honest with you, like a 3-axis gimbal and stuff that they have that this one does not. But anyway, now that you know, and so if you are still interested in this drone or interested in why I don't really recommend this particular drone for a camera drone, stick around and I'll tell you right now. Okay, so let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. So the worst part about this drone is actually that it uses, you have to have an app. As with many, or like all camera drones, I guess, you have an app on your phone which allows you to control like some of the extra features. Now, this does come with a remote that you can use that looks very similar to a Mavic style remote, old style, not the new style type of remote. But to use certain features and to access certain things, you need to have the app, and particularly you need to have your phone with the app connection to the drone in order to actually view what the camera is viewing. Now keep in mind there's a lot of lag, so you do not want to use that like an FPV camera because there's like at least a 3-second delay between when the drone moves and when you see it move on your phone. So the problem that I was having, which is a deal breaker for me, is that I was not able to consistently get a connection, a Wi-Fi connection from the drone to my phone. So that's a big problem, because if you can't see what the camera is looking at, then what's even the point? Because then you're just kind of blindly guessing and flying around. Well, you're not blindly flying around, but you're flying around and hoping that you get a good shot or something. And if you're going to spend $300, like, come on, that's you got to be able to see what you're gonna film. So that's the big problem. This is an Android phone. It may work better on an iPhone. I tested it on an iPad and was able to connect successfully. And then eventually, after some struggling, I did get it to connect on the Android, but randomly it just stopped working, and I'm not sure how to get it working. And so that's just really frustrating as like a user experience.
Clear out of the app. But now I'm going to get back in the app. I'm going to go into the app, enter device. There we go. Okay. So now it's working. Oh, it says not connected. Why is it not connected?
And then also it could be a huge problem if it freezes in the middle of a flight. Like, no, it's not good. Not acceptable. Now, if you do get the app working and you're able to see what the camera is looking at, this is the camera right here. This camera is not a gimbal stabilized camera. When it talks about stabilization, it's talking about electronic image stabilization. So it basically takes the, I'm not sure what method this uses, but the idea is that you take a larger image and then you crop in a little bit, and then you get that image to not move, but you're kind of sacrificing the other parts of the image. And they say it has like a nice Sony sensor in here. I don't know about that for a fact, but I will say the image quality was actually better than I was expecting from a drone like this, and it was actually more stable than I thought it would be. So that's actually pretty, like, that part was kind of impressive to me. Now, for $300, it's not impressive, but for this class of drone, which I would call borderline toy camera drone, not quite toy, but because it does have brushless motors. They say that this is a 4K camera, and it has a nice Sony sensor, and that may be the case, but I think the problem is the glass is what I'm thinking. So the lens on the camera, if you have really crappy glass, then your image just won't be as good as something else that has a similar sensor but better glass. So I think that is one of the problems. Definitely a lot of lens flare at certain points, and just the image is just like, it was kind of good if it wasn't moving, but when things started to move, I like the recording bit rate and stuff, it was not good. Basically, the image quality on here, you could have much better image quality with a probably like $100 action camera. Come on, man. Then I may as well just like strap an action camera to this thing and then fly that around. Yeah, nah. It does have a tilt feature, so you can tilt the camera downward, but the servo that tilts it is like not very smooth. The movement is actually quite kind of gritty or sticky. It's just not very precise. So you're not going to get some kind of nice smooth tilting type of shots on this thing. It's just not going to happen. Also worth noting, I did use a PNY brand SD card, and I was not able to read any of the files on my Mac for some reason. I was only able to read it on a PC, and it didn't play very well. It was all like choppy and bad, but I thought, well, maybe it's because my PC is old and stuff, but it wouldn't play on the Mac at all. So I used a SanDisk SD card, and it's like the SanDisk Extreme SD card, and the SanDisk SD card did work, and so I could read it on the Macs, which was good. On my Mac, not the Macs, the Mac. So not only did I have problems with actually getting the app to work consistently and get a connection between the phone and the drone, but also it would just behave kind of strangely at some points. At one point, I started it up and it just wanted to basically roll to the right and kind of pitch backward a little bit, uncontrollably and like a lot. And so I ended up crashing it into the deck. I wish I had the camera going, but I didn't have the camera going because I thought, well, I'll just be taking some test footage of this thing and probably nothing interesting will happen. Well, I was wrong about that. So that's not cool. It's like, what? Why does that happen? I don't understand that.
So we should be able to unlock the motors. Okay. All right. I mean, that does have a pretty decent... it's starting to drift, just as I was saying that. So that's how much it's drifting. Okay. Maybe it needs to be up a little higher. Maybe that would help. The controls are super mushy. Like, it barely does anything. Like, if I push all the way forward, like, that's all it does. Oh my gosh, it'd be so easy to crash this thing if it started going the wrong way. But this is in like beginner mode. That's honestly way more stable of an image than I thought it would be. Because you can see it's bobbing around pretty good. And it's actually moving too much. Definitely too much, but so I can pull back on the stick there. Kind of zoom out a little bit. Yeah, well, uh-oh, it's turning for some reason. It's yawing. I don't like that. That was weird. Uh-oh. Yawing doesn't seem to be working. Pitch seems to be working. The roll is barely working or not working. I don't like that at all. So I don't really have control over this thing right now. I can make it go down. So So it's kind of drifting, but like I'm not really able to control it much at all. Yeah, it's mostly just drifting. So let me just bring it down. So I'm holding it all the way down. So it takes a long time to land, but I mean, to its credit, it landed pretty well.
As you can see for yourself, I think in the images that I'm showing here on the screen, they're okay. They're good. If this was like a $100, maybe $150 drone that was kind of like a toy, I'd be like, yeah, those are actually some pretty good images. But for $300 and for something this large and kind of that whole look, basically kind of the sort of the Phantom style of drone, it's like, no, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Now, it does have GPS positioning on there, so it does have GPS capabilities. It does have optical flow positioning sensors on the bottom of the drone, which seem to be decent. This thing does drift quite a bit, so I would say probably within like a 6-foot radius is what I would expect for the drift on this thing. Like potentially, like if it's calm wind and it's able to use the optical flow sensors well, then the drift would be like maybe like a foot or something.
This time we're just going to fly this without using the phone. So I'm going to start recording by pressing and holding the camera button on the transmitter. So I mean, it is nice that you can actually fly this without being connected to the phone. You just won't be able to see what you're actually filming. Okay, so let's unlock this. Let's bring it up. All right, so I have more control over it now. Let's see if it'll stay where it's supposed to stay. So it's definitely moving a lot. Like it's moving a good bit. Yeah, it's moving quite a bit because it was over there and now it's over there.
It does not have obstacle avoidance sensors of any kind, but even though it has GPS and stuff, honestly, I just don't trust it. I can't trust it because I feel like if it can't connect to the app, and if I'm having weird things happen when I start this thing up and it just like flies off in a direction, then I just can't trust it. And if you can't trust it, you can't fly it. Also, one more thing, the transmitter on the right side of the transmitter, you have a scroll wheel to tilt the camera up and down, and then on the left side you have a scroll wheel that looks like a scroll wheel, but it does not move and it does nothing because there's nothing to do there. So I don't know if this is just a repurposed transmitter for another drone where that would normally use the scroll wheel, or if they just put it in there from the get-go for looks. Because if they did, that's really lame. That's really lame. Like that just makes it even more like a toy quality drone when you put a button on there that doesn't do anything. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I did not do a ton of testing with this thing, and I'm not going to be talking much more about different specs and features that it has, because it's like if you can't even get it to fly consistently, or if you can't get one of the main features working consistently, which is the app, which allows you to actually see what you're flying, what your camera's pointed at, then it's like, what's the point in any of the other features if you can't get like consistency and reliability with this one? So the presentation of this drone is good. It comes with a case, fancy padding and stuff. It borrows a lot of styles, like on the transmitter and the drone in general, from a popular drone manufacturer. But look, I mean, the performance and the quality is just not there. To me, it's just not $300 worth. Maybe $150 is what I would say. And hey, just for funsies, let's go ahead and take this thing apart and see what's inside. Alrighty then, let's start taking this guy apart. You can probably just separate the top shell from the bottom shell, and that should expose everything. That's my guess. That's tricky. Why do they have to put that there? Aha. Ooh, sneaky. Looks like 3 screws in each arm is... Alright, I'm going to have to take off the landing gear to get to these front arm screws. Should be able to just lift this. There we go. Lift it right off of there. And it looks like there's our main control board and all that sort of good stuff. So for better or for worse, that is the HS700E. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And let me know in the comments what you think about this, or if you have one. And listen, if you have one, don't feel bad. You can still use this thing and make the most of it. But well, I think I've said all I need to say about that. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you again very soon.